Good afternoon, I'm TK, and this is TK's video blog. Good to have you with us, good to see you all again. Welcome. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's get right down to it, shall we, and review our movie of the day. This week's movie is God's Not Dead, In God We Trust. The movie stars David A.R. White, Samir Armstrong, Scott Baio, Paul Quo, Dean Cain, Charlene Tilton, Brad Heller, Isaiah Washington, Ray Weiss, and it features the musical group Newsboys. So, what's the movie about? Well, this movie is the fifth installment in the God's Not Dead movie series. This one, much like the past two movies, follows Pastor Dave, Reverend David Hill, picking up where the last movie left off. After Pastor Dave's powerful testimony on the Hill about religion in the classroom, which moved a lot of people, he is selected to run for public office after the original candidate running for office passes away. This brings about a very important discussion about politics and religion, and if God should have any place near public office at all. It also brings into question Christianity and the lack of enthusiasm in terms of voting there as well. So all in all, it's a very interesting plot, a lot of moving pieces to it indeed. So let's talk about the movie a little more in depth now, shall we? So the plot of the movie, it's an interesting plot with religion and politics and then lack of enthusiasm with Christian voters. I don't know how big those issues are really, but I think they are certainly prevalent. I think they are certainly worthy of discussion. So I think they are worthy parts of this story and worthy parts of the movie and interesting issues to bring to the forefront. But what I really want to talk about right now, in terms of the plot of the movie, is the lack of balance in it. So the movie portrays two sides of the political spectrum, left and right, and they portray one side as good and one side as evil. And they don't really give an accurate depiction of both sides. They don't really show the motivations of the evil side. And it's for that reason I think that it's unbalanced because, again, you see the motivation of the one side but not the other side. And when that happens, when you have that lack of balance in a movie like that, or a TV show, but a movie in this case particularly, that makes the message, or can make the message, fall a little bit more flat. Now let me give you two examples really fast here, if I may, about two TV shows that do the balancing thing with politics really well, or used to. So one is Law & Order SVU, back in the days of John Munch and Finn, and one represented the left, one represented the right. They'd hash it out, their viewpoints throughout the show, and then land on a certain viewpoint. And when that happened, and you had both sides represented equally and fairly, you had a good message, and you kind of, the message didn't get diluted, and it came across really well. Another example I'll offer is Blue Bloods, where it's gotten cheesy and hokey, yes, however, it does very well at portraying both sides of an issue fairly even-handedly and fairly equally, and by doing that, whenever it lands on a stance, which it usually does, it makes you think about the stance and it comes across better and it really hits better. So those are two examples where there is balance, or was balance in the case of Law & Order SVU back in the day, and it worked better, the message came across better. So those are examples of two TV shows where they had the balance right in terms of the politics, in terms of representing both sides equally and fairly, and because of that, the message in the TV shows came across well and landed better and made you think. So let's go back and apply this to the movie now. So the movie, as I said, one side's good, one side's evil, and it doesn't really show you the motivations of the evil side, only shows you the motivations of the good side. And in doing that, that unbalances the story. Now I realize that's what they were going for, but it still unbalances the story, and it makes the message that they were trying to get across, while it might be an important message, and while there might be a discussion there to be had, it really makes it fall a little bit flatter. So what I would say about the plot of the movie overall, to sum up here, is that first of all, what Reagan did really right, which we discussed last week, which I discussed with you all last week, about staying out of the politics of it all. God's Not Dead, In God We Trust, did wrong. They got too much into the politics. And the other thing I would say is, too, that while this movie, while the plot of it raises some potentially important issues to the forefront, it also dilutes those issues with the unbalancing in the movie, with the movie and the plot, with the two sides being represented unequally and it being unbalanced. So I think that while the plot is interesting, certainly, I think the balance in the movie takes away from the plot of the movie, or I should say, the lack of balance in the movie takes away from the plot of the movie a little bit. So the casting of the movie, very well cast. David A.R. White returns for his fifth installment in the God's Not Dead movie series. He's kind of like a staple, like The Rock of the series. He's very calming in the series. He has some powerful moments in the series, certainly, and he's well cast. Scott Baio, coming in as the villain, as the main villain, is interesting. He's very slimy in the movie. Again, with his portrayal in the movie, that element of the plot, I think, again, unbalanced, but as far as what his role was supposed to be, I think he played it very well. Now, here's the issue I had with the cast, though. The dialogue in the movie itself from the cast felt very stiff. It felt very wooden. And my issue with that is, well, first of all, there was no heart or emotion in it. It actually felt like they were almost reading it from a script, from a piece of paper. Now, I realize all actors do that, but this actually felt like it was being read. It didn't really feel like there was heart or emotion behind it. So the dialogue was I think really, really boring and really, really a letdown. Now the cast, I mean, they did the best they could, and they were good. They were well cast, but the dialogue really was not good, and it was just very cheesy and very one note. So while the cast in the movie was very well cast, they all fit their roles pretty well, I thought. I thought the dialogue, on the other hand, was very stiff and wooden and very like soulless, to be honest. So that was a little bit disappointing. Now, in terms of the editing, you know, editing's a big thing for me. It was put together well, good flow, good pacing. There wasn't really any slowness to it. It moved at a good rate. So that was good. It really keeps your attention throughout in terms of the pacing. So that was good too, really what you look for in a movie. The lighting in the movie was very well done. It really fit the tone of the movie. It was brighter, it was lighter, it was more optimistic to fit the tone of the movie, which was more optimism. So that was good. Now, in terms of the music in the movie, the music was good. It was done by largely the Christian religious group Newsboys, which I personally like their music. It's more upbeat, it's more optimistic as well. It's fun, it's energetic, and that kind of fit the tone of the movie as well. So that was good as well. So all those elements really jived and worked in the movie. But the movie as a whole, I thought was very stiff, and I thought it was also very unbalanced. So, that being said, the moment of truth now. What would I give the movie out of 20, and what would I recommend it to y'all? I think I would have to give the movie a 13 out of 20, and here's why. First of all, the movie being unbalanced in terms of the representation of the political sides, that is a big, big no-no for me. That made the message fall flat, and it just didn't work for me. Now, the other thing, too, is the dialogue being stiff, the dialogue being very scripted and feeling that way. Again, big no-no, and just didn't work for me. So it's for those two reasons I would give it a 13 out of 20. Now, that said, would I recommend it? I would absolutely recommend it to you all, and here's why. So the movie, while it was very unbalanced and very stiff, I think that it brings a very important issue, or very important issues, I should say, to the forefront. And I think for that reason alone, I would recommend watching it. I would recommend seeing it. So yeah, while the movie is a 13 out of 20, I would absolutely recommend seeing it. But yeah, definitely a 13 out of 20 for sure. Alright, well, look at my watch. It looks like we're about out of time. So please, until next week, remember, I'm putting in the comment section now. You can comment all season long. Tell me what you like about this blog, what you don't like about this blog. What would you like to see me do differently about this blog? I'd really love to hear from you all. Also remember, all season long, you can comment on a movie, TV show, book, music, anything you want me to review, and perhaps I will review it right here for you all on TK's video blog. Now, I can't always promise you'll like the review or agree with everything I have to say in the review, but I will always promise you I will keep it honest and I will keep it fair. That is my commitment to you all, as always. So, with that all being said, until next week, take care, be safe, and goodbye everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll see you right back here next week.